I'm Bonnie McGowan, Bonica Shears. I love to sharpen shears. I love to teach sharpening. But there's one thing that just is really ugly, and it's these shears. These were sent to me this week. I've been putting off all week trying to shoot a video and show you how I might be able to fix them. I don't know. So take a look at that Rideline. Yeah. It's not just that the tip's wiped out, it's that the Rideline was put on wrong. And if you look underneath at the half moon area, I don't think these were taken apart to do the Rideline. If you're one of those people, you need to watch the rest of this video. If you're thinking about sharpening, if you're one of the new people to my channel, I shoot a lot of videos on shear sharpening, and a lot of them are where I'm repairing other things that look like this. Do you see the Rideline on the teeth side? It's like it doesn't reach the ends of the teeth. It's like it's 2 or 3 different angles. And when this gentleman called me on the phone, his problem, he said, was because he said he felt like he wasn't shown exactly how to do a convex edge. Well, the convex edge, if he was trying to do a convex edge, this is definitely not a convex edge, but that's the least of his problems. He's got a dot here where he feels like is the problem, but the problem is far beyond that. It's like someone coming to the doctor with a headache and they've got a brain tumor. No, it's like someone going to the doctor because he's got 2 little holes on his neck and it was a vampire that got him. And he's so we're going to take a look at these. I got a couple of things to say before we get into sharpening, and I'll bookmark this if you want to just jump to the sharpening, see what I do with these shears, because I want to see what I'm going to do too. I'm as curious as you are. If I could just zoom to the end and find out if I'm able to fix these or not is what I would love to do today. Because it's a Saturday, I normally don't come in and work on Saturdays, but I just need to have the time to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to fix these. So, little story. I've been sharpening for, I didn't realize, 37 years. Misty added it up yesterday. And so I wasn't always a sharpener. I'm quite old, yes. And in my earlier life, I was a school teacher. And I taught high school science and biology in Jacksonville, Florida. And our school was, it was like it was a school area that if you were looking to buy a house and you checked on the schools and how they rated, you wouldn't have picked that neighborhood. It was a low-level school. In fact, it was even the school I graduated from, and I got a full college scholarship because I had the top scores in my school. I wouldn't have got the scholarship if I'd been at any other school. But anyway, I'm back at that school, and our school is scoring very low in math compared to all the other schools in the county. And we had a very wise principal of the school. His name was Colonel McFarland. And he realized that not everybody can learn from all teachers. So he assigned each teacher, regardless of their subject matter, whether they were a PE teacher, biology teacher like me, English teacher, art teacher, all of us were given a word problem, math problem. And we had to teach it that week. We were given a fresh one every Monday. And so we had the full week to teach that to our students along with everything else. And you know what? The math scores for the school came up. I thought it was a brilliant idea. Now, if you've been trained by me, or if you've been trained by, any of your teachers and you feel like you've done well, put it in their comments if you're watching their YouTube channel or mine. We all like to have praises as teachers. But if someone's trained you, like me, or this gentleman was trained by 2 other sharpeners that I really respect their work, don't go to other people and say, hey, they did a bad job. Go back to them and say, hey, I didn't get this. Can you go over this with me? Because they know what they've taught you. They've already dealt with you. They know your learning styles and your strengths and weaknesses. And it's just going to be better all the way around if you can go back to that person. Now, if they don't want to spend the time with you, then that tells you something too. But so this gentleman, I've never trained him, never met him. He'd never ordered a bumper washer, anything from me. But I want to help him out. He says, and he sent me a little letter. I'll cover up the names of the two people that trained him. But he says these are his wife's thinners. And he says he thinks he's messed them up. Yes, he has messed them up. Maybe he's ashamed to send them back to them. But he is a professional sharpener, and he is making money in his area. So Robert, that's his name. I'm not going to say his name. So we'll make up a name. So when I clothe these, they do catch. But that's not the problem, so far beyond that. Let's take a look at them. And I'm thinking I'm just going to sharpen them in my regular way and see what happens. And then if they don't cut, then I'll start doing some extraordinary steps with them. And first of all, they're a lefty, which just makes them more difficult. But we're going to work through these today. So I have my Cymek scissor flat hung. As I said, I don't know what equipment he has. I'm going to go through my steps in sharpening. So my steps include, first of all, I use the word test, T-E-S-T. So what type of shears are they? Well, they're lefty grooming shears. ShowGear is the brand. I could look them up. I think they were supposed to be convex originally. I know they shouldn't have that rough of a beveled edge on them. I mean, this is like rough. This would be like something I would have made with like 180 grit or 220 grit. So they're thinning shears. So that's the T in the word test. E is looking at the edge. And as I said, this edge and the ride line is just, this is just horrible. The S is screw and all the hardware. Now this finger rest keeps coming off on me. These are what we call a flipper shears. I might put a little drop of glue on there because I'm assuming she wants to keep those on there, his wife does. And then the last one, the last T, is I'm going to test the cut. So I can test the cut on a couple of things. Ramon Eichard, when he was at our Sharpeners Jam, he was all about cutting on one of these towels. And I'm going to use my left hand because these are left-handed shears and just see what we got going, and nothing there. I might test them on perm paper and wraps. You're not testing them on the toilet tissue, not these shears with teeth. See, it cuts a little bit, but not very much. You could cut hair, but since these are for dogs, I like to cut either rabbit fur or some kind of fur like this. And it's really not cutting, you see. So let's go through just basic sharpening and see what happens, and then I'll go from there if they don't work at that point. So first of all, these little finger rests keep coming off. I have to stop and find some glue to glue them on with. Nail polish works good too. But I'm going to take them apart using my pyramid UFO tool. He's got his clicker plate up. Looks like he's put them back together correct. No, he hasn't. That's one of the problems. It's put together wrong. So number one, the square peg. So I'm going to put them back together right and see how they cut. Square peg goes into the round hole. So that's one mistake he made. So there's the round hole. Here's the square peg. That goes here. And then this should go here. That might make a somewhat of a difference. It's not going to fix that ride line, that's for sure. Now make sure the nipple's up. And his nipple was up. Always watch how you take shears apart. Let's see if it cuts a tissue any better. Left hand. It didn't improve anything. If anything, it's worse. So let's take it back apart, but we'll make sure we put it back together right. So if you enjoy watching me struggle with these shears, now please subscribe so that my videos will come up to you faster and you can find them. I've got lots and lots and lots of videos. Yeah, he's got his washer there, so I'm putting this up here. I do enjoy shooting videos, but I don't enjoy it when shears are like this, where it's iffy, can I fix them or not? So this ride line, oh yeah, I want you to see this. Let me zoom in here. So can you see he only worked the ride line from here to here? Can you see how that looks different at that point right there, down here? So when he was doing the ride line, he didn't have this sitting on his stone. Same thing with this one. You can see exactly where his ride line, where he was doing the work and he wasn't doing anything back here. If you're doing the ride line, you have got to take them apart, and you've got to put this whole area on your stone. There's a lot of different water stones. This is the one we usually kind of, like the beginner stone we start people out on. This needs a little cleaning up and flattening, but this comes 4,000 grit side, 1,000 grit side. I think we're going to have to start with the 1,000 grit, just because I think we're going to have to take a lot of metal off here to match it down there. We might want to do the diamond, because this is quite extensive. I'm going to color this in and see what happens. Normally I never color in the teeth because it's just too hard to get the red off, but I've got to on these. So this is my edge marker. I like this edge marker over the Sharpie, which is what I've used in some of my earlier videos, because this one does, like on the teeth where sometimes it's hard to get all the red off, this does come off easier. We sell these. I mean, it's nothing more than a marker, but it does have the double ends on it. So I don't need to wet this. This is a diamond stone. Normally I would hold it in the right hand and go up and down, but I'm holding it in my left hand. Let me get, do I have a little stand? See if it'll fit on top of this. Yeah. So I'm not dragging my knuckles on here. Pressure's here. Now what I want you to notice, when I press here, everything's flat. If I were just to put my pressure here, do you see how that moves up? That's what he was doing. So he didn't have this area on. He was here, he thought he was flat, but he really wasn't. So that ride line, instead of being flat, is up. That ride line, instead of being flat, is up there. So I'm here, my pressure is there, light up there. Now see, I've got the ride here, little bit at the tip, really nothing in there. But what I'm wanting is like a backwards J. So I'm starting to get something here. Since that tip's already wiped out, normally I tell people to keep everything on the stone, including the tip, but since that tip's already wiped out, I'm going to kind of hang that tip off a little bit so I don't take as much off there. But the idea is I've got to take a lot off here to bring all of that down. I might need something even more aggressive than this diamond. This is my foundation. This is where the main problem came from, is that just did not get a good ride line. Oh. That's starting to look pretty good. Hope you can see that. I got a little silver line here. Don't have it good right there, but I got it going around making a backwards J and not up the back. I think we can resurrect these. Yay! Yay! I'm working up here, that corner. All right, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic than I was. Woohoo! Little bit right there I don't have. And it's a thin ride line, but it's there. I'm going to work it a little bit more. And then I'm going to go to my other stone over here. Yes, got it all the way down. Little bit of silver there. Silver a little bit wide at the tip, but it's not wiped out. That's what the ride line is supposed to look like. If it's not looking that way, either something wrong with your shears, or something wrong with your stone, or something wrong with your sharpening. And once again, if you are just pressing here, so you don't have that whole thing on there, you think you're flat, but you're not. Your ride line is going to be what I call a relaxed ride line. Now I'm going to go from here to, now this is 1200 grit, I think, but I'm going to go from here to like a 4000 grit, I think. So it's coming off here, like there's a few teeth here, two there. That's kind of interesting looking. You see that? Mm-hmm. Wow. But I think this is going to be resurrected. I think his wife's going to be happy. And I'm hoping he's learning something by watching this. I'm not doing anything that the two instructors that I know would have told him. But maybe that he was just having a rough day that day, or they were, or something. Now you see, you can see the sparkle here. Some of the teeth have silver. Some are still red. This is starting to get wiped out wide here, which I don't, would rather not happen. But I need to get these teeth here, but I don't want to lift up. The reason we're not getting those teeth is because when he did the ride line, he was more high, with the teeth up higher than they should be. But I've got a nice ride here and starting there. Maybe I'll kind of but most of my pressure is here. This hand is at a scale. I don't know how to show you how much I'm pressing. Maybe this box here. So this hand, I'm pressing here. This hand, there. Does that give you an idea, comparison? This finger is as hard as I can press. This one would be about like there. Ow. In fact, that finger is really starting to jam up and hurt me, because normally I'm pressing with this finger. Okay, so I've got, let me go ahead and switch to my other stone. Now this is a 2000 grit in here. Let's see how this one will work. If you're like me and you've been sharpening a while, you've got quite a collection of water stones. And you've got some that are more favorites than others. As I said, this is our Kitayama. That is what we start people out with usually, because it's got your 1000 grit and your 4000 grit. This is 2000. And I like to use, this is one of my broken arc hones. Oh, there's my Nagura stone right there. Been a snake, it would have bit me right there in front of me. Yeah, Nagura does work better than arc hone. So I'm kind of cleaning this stone up. It probably needs to go and be flattened. A lot of scratches in it. Not sure why, but that shouldn't affect the sharpening. The idea is not, the scratches aren't as much of a problem as just making sure everything is good and flat. I cleaned it up a little bit, create a little bit of a slurry. See, it's a little bit of sharpening mud. And pressure here, light there. And this should smooth it out and shine it up a little bit more. Heavy here. Well, that looks kind of nice. That looks kind of nice. Yeah. And you know what? If you're by yourself like I am, it doesn't hurt to talk to your shears. So, hey, little ShowGear, you can do it. You can be used again. Your mommy wants you back in one piece where you're going to cut for. And all the little puppy dogs are missing you. I'm still got some red on some of these teeth. You see that? Which teeth is it? G. So I'm going to try to put my fingers on those teeth. And that might not be a bad thing that I'm not getting it all the way to the tip, because a lot of times we have to ramp the teeth a little bit. Let's go to this 1000 grit and see how that happens to work. If I'm mobile and I'm in the salon sharpening, I don't have the luxury of having all these stones with me because I'll have to lug them in. But since I'm sitting here, I can go and dig out an extra stone. Now this one is more aggressive. Getting too much off the tip. Don't like that. Gonna work up in here. There. Got to make sure this part's on, even though I'm working on those teeth. I'm missing that tooth and this tooth. But that's not the tooth he colored in blue. Let's go with that and see what happens. I'm not sure if it's going to make it any better by keep working it. So set all these stones aside. I've got to clean up when I get through here because I've got 2 people coming in next week for training. So now we're going to this blade and I want to do a scratch test to see what the angle is. I'm going to put it at 40, which is about what I would probably do this dog grooming scissor. So I've set my clamp. Dadgummit, forgot it's lefty. Forgot it's a lefty. Move my light over. Pull out my spatter guard. And I have to come from the other direction. Poo, poo, poo. I'm clamping on this rod, that flat area. And it's, see how it's slanted down? That just gives me a better at the tip. So I've got, since we're going to do it as a convex, here's a fresh 800. Let's see what happens on the fresh 800. I might have to go to something a lot more aggressive than that, but so when you're doing a lefty, this arm is in front of you. And scratch test, I can either lay it up here and turn it with my hand, or I can just turn it on slow, and I want to make sure I'm going the opposite direction, going lefty. So I might just turn it on really slow and just see oh wow. Oh wow. You guys see this angle. So this is 40, what I was scratching it on. Can you see where the scratch is? Like way back here, and that much red is left? Let's see what angle he's actually got on these. That's 40. That's one of the problems. So one problem was the screw. Number 2 was the rod line. Number 3 is the angle. So if it's a convex edge, 40 is about the lowest I would go. But I'm going to set this on 30. Just have to touch it. Can you see? Still red there, which means it's blunter than 30. Let's just keep going and see what angle he's got these at. So that's 30. Let's go down to 20. Now I've heard some people that sharpen groomers do like everything at 15. That's just wrong. I mean, I don't often say somebody's just wrong, but it is. I mean, there's some shears need to be at 15 and some don't. So 20 seems to be the right angle. Do you see the red's removed now? That's the angle that's on here. That's not the angle I want to put them at. If I want to reconvex these and have them sharp enough to cut, because see, there's just no edge on them right now. I don't feel anything. I want to bring them up to 40. So if I'm having to take off that much metal. All right, now let's see. Let's think about these a little bit. Do I want to convex them and bring them up to 40? So let's deal with reality. Do I want to, preferably, I would like to bring them up to at least a 40 degrees and reconvex them. But we're working with reality here, where he's got them at 20. And he's got them beveled. Do I want to just bring them up to 35 and leave them beveled? Do I want to try to do all of it to convexing? Okay, in the real world, I'd probably just bring them up to 35 and leave them beveled. But I'm demonstrating a video. Put in your comments what you would do if you're a sharpener. I think I'm just going to leave them beveled at 35. And then if I don't like the way they cut, I can always go to 40. It's going to be harder going from 40, I think, to 35. No, see, nobody knows it all. 35, I think. I might do a little rocking, just so it kind of looks a little convexy. Not so bevelly, but mostly I'm just going to stay at that edge. Now, my tip is not touching beyond the middle, so I'm going to pull it out. But don't just land and start pulling. You want to land, try to get your burr up in this area first. Maybe just a little rocking, and then slowly. Because if you just keep pulling out, you just end up with too much off the tip. Yeah. I'm still seeing red along the edge here, and I'm not really seeing, I'm beginning to feel a burr here, but there's still red along the edge all the way down there. And he had a couple of different angles on that outside, if you remember. Now some people, the way they try to do a convex edge, they'll come in here, that angle, this angle, this angle, and rather than doing a rocking thing to get their convex edge. And it is a lot more difficult doing a lefty shear. I'll say it's a lot more difficult. It's really not more difficult. It's only just awkward because we're not normally doing a lefty shear. We're more likely to be doing a right-handed shear, so we're holding everything, going the opposite direction. You got muscle memory now, you're using different hands, different fingers for doing this. This is very light on there. My work is being done with my right hand. Now I can definitely see. I don't think you can see it in this. I don't think you can see it in this light, but I definitely see like red right along that edge. I feel a little burr, and it's red right there. Light is so important when you're doing this. Not too much light, not too little light. My hands are so weak I can't tighten these down. No, still not there. Well, I'm going pretty slow. I can speed this up a little bit. Nope. Can go to a coarser grit. I think I'll do that. It is Saturday. I don't want to be here all day. Let's see, what do I have over here? Ooh, that's a 180. I bet that'll move some metal. And the only reason I'm using a cushion plate on a beveled edge is I'm going to make it look a little convexy, but it's still going to be pretty much a bevel. Listen to the difference in the sound. I bet I got it now. I bet I do. Sometimes you just got to move some metal. Woo! Okay. You know what? I didn't think today was going to be fun coming in here sharpening this scissor. I just thought it was going to get so messed up. And I hope y'all are having fun, because I am. Ooh, I almost took too much off of that tip, unless it was that way already. You got to be careful when you go to those aggressive things. Before you know it, if you pull it across and you do too much of a rotation, you're like, there goes your tip. And the tip is like the most important part. This thing's sliding all over the place. Bonnie, keep it still. You know, I bet if I tighten this down my right hand instead of my left hand, it might work better. Oh, dear. This looks fairly good. This looks really crappy. I don't think I even want you to see it. Well, now this looks good. That part looks really crappy. Let's see if I can get that last little. Oh, you got it looking worse, Bonnie. Let's try it again. Well, this is cosmetic, and when I polish it, it should look better. Gonna call that done. Here's my felt pad. I put this on a flat plate. Polish me beautiful. So, in the past, I would pull my burr off before I polish. I've been here lately polishing, then pulling my burr off, and then coming back and polish again. And I think I'm getting a better polish because of it. A little smoother edge. And it's not taking me any additional time. It's a fairly new felt pad. I think we put it on yesterday. That tip's looking bad because I let it touch beyond the center. Exactly why it looks so ugly. So you want to make sure, it's kind of hard because that blade is so straight, but try not to let that tip touch beyond the center, because then the plate is going into the edge instead of away from it. But it's looking better. I'm going to see if I can get that look a little bit better yet. I'm not even coming to the edge. I'm just kind of Ooh, that looks nice. Now I'm going to pull my burr off. So I was training someone this week, and he was at this point. He says, it doesn't feel sharp. And I said, he was putting it back together. I said, did you pull your burr off? He's like, ooh, no. So I'm back on my stone. Can you see me? I go to whatever the finest stone I was on, or could even go finer if you had a bunch of stones. I still feel a little burr right here in the middle. Got to make sure that stays on. Now I'm back in my clamp, and I'm going to do my micro adjuster. So where I was at 35, now I'm going to pop it up to maybe like it's close to 39 or something. And maybe a little slower. That's probably enough. And I'm checking it with my my towel, and I feel roughness in the middle, and that's where I felt the burr still on the inside. That's also where he said the teeth were catching. Still feel a little roughness right there. Don't want to overdo it. Not as smooth as I'd like, but let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we fix this thing, because we might have to do some major work. At this point, if I could jump ahead in time and look and see how long this video turns out to be, I would know whether this is going to fix it or not. But that's an advantage you have that I don't have. So if this video is a lot longer, you know this isn't going to work. If this video ends pretty quick, and I have to admit, I did pray over these before I started. Sometimes some of these shears, you just got to pray over them first. This feels sharper. It's not as sharp as I would like it to feel. Don't like the way that part right there feels. I'm going to go over it before I even try to put it together with a nail buffer. Yeah, and that feels smooth. See, I haven't fixed the Rideline. It's still wiped out. So do you see my Rideline now at the tip there? You see how my Rideline is a different level than what he had? Because his was more, it's too far back now, but you see how that looks? And then underneath here, see how it's all on one plane until you get to the back, which is the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to go up the back. It's only supposed to go up the cutting edge. So much better. Let's clean all this red off of here. Help me remember where his little blue mark is, because that's like one finger digit up. That's not blood on me, that's marker. Oh, clean all this red marker off, because when you give them back, your customer will think, oh no, they bled all over them. The reason I use red and not another color, though, is because the red shows up so well. All right. This is the time for your second prayer. Let's put it together. Lord Jesus, if people need to learn more from this video, let them not cut. If they've learned enough, let it cut. And that just looks, oh, this looks horrendous. I want to show you this. You see how that looks? Oh, that just looks awful. Oh, there's still red there in the middle. I guess I better get all that out with a brush, but you see how it looks like some are high and some are low? Whew. So, I have a feeling Jesus is going to have you learning more, because I don't think these are going to cut well, but let's see if I can get all this red out of the teeth. And it's good to brush the teeth anyway. I didn't do that. Sometimes when you're working the Rideline, especially as much as I was working this one, you'll push burr between the teeth, and you need to brush them good. You got to brush your human teeth too. People that have healthier gums usually they have healthier hearts. There's a connection between the two. So square peg, round hole, and this is right at left-handed scissors. Dadgummit. Okay, this goes here. As much as I'm enjoying this, I hope this works. Where's my little pyramid tool? Here it is. What I like about the pyramid tool, see, I know this was the one I used before and it's still there. I don't have to pick it up and guess which of the little horns go in here. Now you hear that click? You better hear it click, because if you don't hear it click, your nipple's not up. So I'm not closing it. I've got it open. I'm going to do my first close carefully on the paper towel. Oh, left hand. It's not cutting that. I guess y'all got more to learn, or I do. Oh, did you see how much better that cut? So much better. Let's see if it will cut fur. It's flipping. But it's not catching. Your easiest thing to fix is your screw, is tightening your screw. Let's see if it'll go one click tighter. It won't. Let's put another washer in here. Always tension edge alignment. Your first thing you want to check is your tension. Sometimes something as simple and as silly as an extra washer can make a difference. So there's a washer on here, but let's put another washer. I saw some washers laying here. Ah, just the right size. This is my most used size of washer, 7.5. We sell all kinds of washers and scissor parts, and we try to label them correctly. So this 7.5 means it's the outside diameter. The OD is 7 millimeters, and the inside diameter is 5 millimeters, which is just happened to be the right size for this one, and it's the one I use the most. So I'm turning till I hear the clicking. What time is it? My stomach's growling. Yep, 11:30. This is lunchtime. Yes, let this work because I want to go eat lunch. If you come here for sharpening training, we usually stop at 11:30 and have lunch. The restaurants aren't as crowded. Yeah, that extra washer, see, it's letting me make it a little bit tighter. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I think this is going to work. Whoa. Let's get some regular hair. Something like this. And see how it cuts. What you think? I think that's good enough. Let's try some rabbit fur and see what happens. I'm gonna glue that on. I couldn't find any clear nail polish when I was out the other day, so I've got black. Really won't notice. That'll hold it in. This one's loose too. Let me put a little bit on that one. Here's a rabbit with some alopecia problems. I was training a guy from Lithuania yesterday. I'll be doing a second class with him online, and he had fox fur. Look at that. So I'm all smiles, and this is a shorter video than I thought it was going to be, and I didn't have anything extra to show you. So the issues that we handled, number one was screw was in backwards. Number two, the ride line, you have to take it apart to work the inside. It's still catching on that one tooth. See that? So I do have one more thing to show you. And this should be simple. So if you have any of these little pink or white stones, either one will work. That tooth that's catching, which is right there, I'm just going to go over and do a little ramping. See, I'm here. I'm not doing a flat. Right there. So backwards, these lefties. So I'm ramping the teeth right where it catches. And I can kind of see like a little shiny thing where it catches. And it left a little teeny tiny nick on this side. Just gently going over that. Maybe doing a little nail buffer on this side. Little nail buffer. Gently I can feel a little catch. I think I want to leave well enough alone. We could keep working at it until we mess it up. It's that tooth right there. Feels smoother. Let me make sure it still cuts. Now here's the problem. Sometimes you do too much there and it won't cut. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So some of the techniques you learned here was the correct way to do a ride line, correct way to put in the screw, a little bit of ramping, brushing the teeth to take out any burrs between the teeth, and doing a scratch test and finding out what angle it is, and then making a decision whether you really want to bring it all the way up to where it should be, or if you want to do like a modified, not really convex, but kind of fool you, kind of a convexy look. Because it's only a 35-degree angle. I imagine when it was new, it was probably 45-degree, but I'm not as familiar with the names of the dog grooming scissors I am with hair cutting scissors. So I'm hoping this was helpful to you, and this will be going back to him on Monday. I charge $15 for people that are sharpeners, that have already sharpened the shears and something's not right. If you learn something from your teachers, always compliment them. If you're not getting it, go back to them. Hi, this is Bonnie McGowan from Bonica Shears. I hope you're staying sharp. Hope all these tricks and little tips that I showed you about sharpening are helpful to you. And if you want to see more, make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I usually upload about once a week. Sometimes more often, so you want to be a part of that. We have a Sharpeners Jam each year, and we also have a Sharpeners Jam group. All these things are in the description links below. So are you curious about the tools I'm using in this video? Those are also in the links below, as well as on the product page. And also you can go to my website, www.bonica.com, which I'll have free information packages that you can download. And I do sharpening training both here in our office, but also online, and of course on these YouTube videos. So you stay sharp, my friend.